Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
We got you, Tristan. There you are.
Thank you, Haley. We are good to
Right.
go.
These West Coast people.
I know what's up with that. No, hey, thanks for coming. I think we got the link all figured out now. We got people in the room, people watching at home. So thanks again for joining us today. And I want to give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself to the people that don't know you, if you could, real quick.
Yeah, definitely. So the name is Tristan Ahumada. I'm from the Malibu, Westlake Village area in California. Been in real estate for 14 years. I run a large team out of the area. I've been a real estate agent for that long. Never became a broker owner, or any of that. Just a big headache for me. But we usually do over 100 million in volume consistently. And I created a Facebook group called Lab Coat Agents back in 2014. And it took the industry by storm. Now we speak nationwide about once a week. So I go all over the nation speaking about automating and leveraging tools, technology, and talent. So here I am today. Thanks for having me.
And speaking of traveling, you got a big event coming up, if I remember right, coming up next month.
We definitely do. Thanks for bringing it up, buddy. Yeah, it's our third annual event. This one's going to be in San Diego, and we've got Facebook, who's going to be there, Instagram. We've got you guys.
Yep.
We've got Roland and Perry from Digital Marketer, and then Aaron Brockovich is our keynote speaker. We've got some amazing people there. So if you want to stop by, you still got about a month left, and tickets are $349, but I'll send you a link for $199.
That'd be awesome. So real quick, just to recap, what's the dates on that again?
June 26th through the 28th.
That's going to be on Coronado in the San Diego area, correct?
Definitely, man. Definitely.
All right. Looking forward to that one. So, Tristan, we just did an event together in Denver with Club Wealth, and, your presentation today, I kept hearing about, to this day, people are still talking about it. So today you're going to be talking a little bit about leads, leveraging those leads, nurturing those leads, automating it. So it's not going to be such a headache to do yourself. Is that correct?
You got it, man. A little bit. I'm going to touch a little bit on the same presentation we did there, just because people always want to know, well, how do I do this? Or how do I go about doing that? And this way, people can see that we put tools together that are out there to be able to make that happen.
Awesome. And with that, if you guys have stuff to share, man, just go ahead. These guys are looking at me like, just let Tristan talk. So we'll let you take the floor.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for having me. So we get to listen to and talk to a lot of multimillionaires across the United States and also in international waters. And the thing that we hear a lot of is not that you've got to hustle. Because that's what I'm hearing here I hear Facebook Lives, I hear YouTubes. It's like hustle here, hustle there. Look, there's nothing wrong with hustle, but the emphasis on hustle, I think, has gotten a little bit extreme. Because when I'm talking to these multimillionaires, they're not telling me, hey, Tristan, today I worked 15 hours and it was freaking amazing. They're telling me about how they just leveraged this technology, or that how they made this important hire because they just hired a talented person. So what you find is a big difference between multimillionaires and people who are just making it. And that's, these multimillionaires have learned how to leverage the technology and tools along with the people in their lives. And that's what I'm going to show you here, because the key is we've got technology out there to help us leverage our time to be able to make more of what we've got. This way we can grow quicker and not burn ourselves out. Because a lot of the times you see these top agents that are doing great, but it's like this, just like this whole business. It's a big roller coaster because you get burned out. You have like this super high, like, oh, I'm doing amazing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, but oh, this sucks. Oh, and then, oh yeah, this business rocks. So it's a big up and down. And let me share a screen with you. Tell me when you can see my screen, Mike. I'm going to jump on it.
All right.
And you should.
Here we go. We got it.
Is that good?
Got it. And by the way, just the people in the room, are we excited to hear from Tristan today? I mean, you guys are so quiet today. Can we give him? There we go. That's a little better. Thank you.
I felt like there was like only you there. Until
I've got 3 people here that clap really loud. We're good.
I love it. So this is what I teach: automatic agents. One of like the 7 different presentations that we do. This one is one of our newer ones, and it has a lot to do with automating your online lead gen, lead conversion, and leveraging technology. So that's if you wanted some of my scripts. There are scripts that we use for really everything that we have out there, for expireds, for online leads. And what I do is I plug them in to our system so that they automate. And this way, if I get a lead that's coming through as I'm talking to you, yeah, I've got a team that can handle it through multiple ISAs, but I've also got some technology in place that is able to talk to them and engage with them so that I'm able to do this. So if you want some of those scripts that I use, you could just plug and play. You can text lab coats to that number, and it'll download some of the scripts that I just created about 8 months ago to help you engage with some of these online buyer leads. This is specific to that. So take a look at that, take a picture, because I'm about to switch.
Oh, definitely writing it down for sure. So that's good. We got everybody writing.
Good, good, good. We'll give it another 10 seconds, and maybe we'll give it 2 seconds. There you go. All right, so the overview today: Facebook leads, online leads, Craigslist, follow-up, and scripts. I don't even know if we're going to get to the whole thing, but we're going to try to, all right? This is my guy that I look up to. He's like my mentor, but yet he doesn't know he's my mentor. I think it goes along with a lot of people. He talks a lot about automation, and he says when you apply automation, it really makes your process and your company, it really makes it stand out in one of 2 ways. You'll either find out how badly it sucks because it'll show your inefficiencies, or it'll show you how great you're doing because all of your processes are in place. And so that's what happens when you start automating. It happened to me a few years back. I'm like, wow, you know what? I really need to take a step back before I automate things because I need to put them in order. I didn't know that I was running such a crappy ass business. All right, automate. I don't know if I need to tell you why you need to automate, but for me, it all comes down to leverage. I need to be able to grow, and the only way I can do that is by leveraging technology and people so that I can have the quality of life that I want. Yeah, I work my ass off, but at the same time, it's not all the time. I work my ass off for 3 to 4 weeks straight, and then guess what? I take a few days off because that same stress that's applied to me making breakthroughs, if I don't relax, if I don't take some time off, it's going to also burn me out. So it's a fine balance that you have to find. Automation is key to growth. Yeah, there are a lot of businesses adopting it right now. It's the thing that people are talking about. You look at Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple. Those are the big 4, and you're looking how they're starting to automate everything, and everybody's talking about AI. We're at the very, very beginning of what our real estate world is going to look like in 5 years, where a lot of things are automated. And I think we have an opportunity right now to start using this technology, because if we don't, we're going to be left behind, and we're going to wonder what the fuck happened to us. How are your buyers searching for homes? Here's a great example. Buyers age 32 make up the largest share of home buyers. That's really important because it's showing you that a lot of those buyers now are really young. The average age of a real estate agent is 57 years old, according to NAR. And the buyers are way younger. They're going to, where are they going to? Realtor.com and Zillow. That's where they're going to. And then you're starting to see if Redfin is, Mike, is Redfin in your area?
It's barely starting. By the way, all of our 57-year-olds in the crowd just said, nope, I'm dyeing my hair tomorrow and I'm going to dress younger. And just
look, we can't do anything about that, but we can adapt and we can adjust by knowing what's going to happen. And that's what I'm bringing to the table here. I'm telling you what's happening right now so you can adjust now before it happens.
Redfin, we've got a little bit of a presence in Redfin. Not huge here. They're not a huge force, but they're here.
All right. So Redfin's been around in our area since 2009-ish, around there. So they've have a big foothold here, but it still doesn't damage our industry here. Look, at the end of the day, these companies are going to take a big chunk of the business that we're doing, but it's our job to be able to work at that level that these buyers and sellers are looking for us to do, right? So 52% of home buyers use an iPhone to look at homes online. Can somebody in the audience tell me why that's important? Just raise your hand. I can't see you, but Mike can.
Everybody's hands down. They're all shy in here. So
Should we show the crowd?
yeah, we should show the crowd. There they are. Now you guys are on the spotlight too. So why do you think an iPhone's important? Why do you think that's important? We got one guy in the crowd here. Jeff, what do you think?
Your apps have to be mobile friendly.
Yes, you got to be mobile friendly.
All right. So 52% of home buyers use an iPhone to look at homes online. It's telling you that Android sucks and iPhone rules. That's what it's telling you. I'm joking. Anyway, no, it's important. It's important just to be mobile. You're right. 51% of buyers found their home on the internet versus going to a realtor first or seeing it on a sign or in another way. 34% of buyers found their home through a realtor. That's important right there. I'll show you another line that makes that super important. But 1% of buyers found their home in a printed magazine or newspaper. I find that a lot of times when agents get to this part right there, they tell their clients or their agents that, see, that's why you don't use printed magazine or newspaper, because only 1% of buyers found their home there. And I think you have to take a step back if you're in a luxury market. I get to be in both markets here, luxury and not luxury, because I'm in the middle. And so the luxury buyers do find their home in a printed magazine, but 1% of the world's population is multi-millionaire. And so it's really important to take a look at why that 1% found their home in a printed magazine. That's because the uber wealthy are lucky. And you have to think, okay, if I've got a home that's listed in a luxury area or is a luxury property, that's something viable right there. I need to take a look at that. So don't write it off. That's all.
Unfortunately with us, I think your average sale price is probably luxury for us here in Minnesota. So
that's all right, dude. It's something to keep in the back of your mind anyway. 94% begin their home search online. That's really important. It's actually slightly creeping up. This is about 6 months old. 65% said their first action is requesting a showing of a home online. And you do see that with the realtor.com or Zillow leads for the most part. And 33% found the agent they used to buy a home online. That's 1/3. That's huge. But then what happens here? 50% of online leads never even get a single response. That means all these leads that we have online that we're getting through Facebook, pay-per-click, Zillow, realtor.com, they just never get a response. And I'm thinking, what the hell is happening?
I thought the real estate industry was super responsive.
That's funny, dude. That's
not true. No, not at all.
And the thing is, this is for online leads. I know it also happens for open house leads or even past clients. I get this story all the time. Oh, I haven't talked to my past client since we closed 5 years ago. Or, yeah, I got 6 open house leads, but I haven't talked to them at all. And it's an issue with all types of leads. There's a big disconnect here. What you want to do, because you suck at follow-up for the most part, is you want to start thinking about automating that process. Because online leads, they need an average of 5 follow-ups before contact is made. And that, chances are, isn't going to happen from you because you're busy working on the hot leads or the leads that are ready right now or maybe almost ready. But to be following up consistently with all these other leads that are coming through, regardless of where they're from, is probably not realistic for you. And that's would
you say, Tristan, that it's probably a fair statement that most agents will try maybe twice, and if they don't get a response, they're done?
I agree with that. I see a lot of the agents on my team, the ones that aren't used to really calling and doing that, they definitely do that. And I think it's no it's no fault of their own because they don't know any better, right? Even with me telling you and telling crowds, it's just them hearing it, but they just don't process it because to them and to most agents, they're looking at doing business, but they don't necessarily fit into the model of, well, I'm not a follow-up machine. I'm not a caller. You get a lot of people who tell you in the industry, and I know you've heard this, is, well, once I get them in person, it's a different story. I hear that all the time, don't you?
All the time.
And that's all that's saying is that they're not that great over the phone, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I come from a background of telemarketing, so I know why I'm good on the phone. I used to telemarket for 4 years while I was in end of high school and into college. So for me, it made sense. But most people don't come from that background. And so you have to take a look at, since you know you suck at that, what are you going to do about it? And that's where technology and leveraging it makes sense, because a lot of us, all we do is just do what we normally do, our routine, which is not making those calls consistently. And I've got to tell you that that's okay. You just have to have a place, or you just have to have the tools in place to be able to step away from it and be comfortable with it. So we know why follow-up matters. This is my favorite percentage here. 78% of home buyers use the first agent they meet with. And that goes along with what you hear all the time, which is, well, if I meet them in person, it's a different story, right? We hear that all the time. And so you have to look at, how do I get these people to meet me? How do we do that? And if you're following up 1 or 2 times, it's just not going to happen. It's not. Because you have other people like me following up with them 7 to 10 times in one day, just to be able to have them engage with me and tell me, hey, I'm here, or hey, stop bothering me. I just need to know where you're at. And following up with an online lead within 5 minutes, I mean, look at that, 900 times more likely to convert them. I think this stat's a little older. It's by HubSpot and Follow Up Boss. What I find now, if you're buying Zillow and Realtor.com leads, they are slightly different than your pay-per-click or Facebook leads. If you are following up with those, it's really more like a minute. If you're not on it by a minute or less, you're going to have a challenge because you're going to have other agents already talking to them.
So I don't know if you've experienced this in your market, but if there's times that we're responding to a lead within 18 seconds or less, and we're not the first agent on the phone.
Yeah, that's happened to me, man. And the key to that, the key to that is, because I've been running online leads since 2006. The key to that is, once you do get them on the phone, chances are the person, realtor or admin or ISA, who just finished talking to them or talked to them earlier, it was a 3 to 5 minute conversation. Your job is to become their friend that first time you're talking to them. You need to talk to them for a very, very long time, because this way, here's what I do, or I tell my ISAs and my agents to do. When you reach out to them for the first time and you're talking to them and engaged with them, make sure that you're taking 15, 25 minutes on that first call. Why? Because everybody else that's calling them between there isn't getting through. You've got their attention, and all those other calls that are coming through, texts and everything, they're not going because you've got their attention. Now, if we're second or third, chances are somebody isn't spending that time with them that needs to be spent. And so it's our job to connect with them and start creating that relationship. The key for us is, every time we're talking to somebody from the very beginning, we're trying to make this a whole relationship versus just a transaction. So for us, it's relational versus transaction. And that's—
You bring up a good point there. You bring up a really good point, because if most agents will quit after 1 or 2 follow-up attempts and they're done, if you're on the phone with that lead for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, they're not going to try back again. Nope. And likewise, if that same agent is second or third agent to connect with the lead, once once that lead's not easy to convert, they're just going to quit too. So really, the key that you're saying is if you can be first or be fast and build rapport, build a relationship in that first contact, whether you're the first agent or not, you're still seeing success with it.
Definitely, man. And try to get them to meet you, because look at that stat. 78% of home buyers use the first agent they meet. Now,
so don't overscreen them and overqualify and stuff like that. Just go get the appointment, meet with them.
Yeah, and some people like the Facebook leads and the Google pay-per-click leads. They're a little bit further out, so they're not going to want to meet you.
Right.
So that's where the relationship becomes so important, right? Take time to really know their timeline. I always tell my agents, if you forget everything, do me a favor, don't forget one thing. Find out their motivation when you're talking to them. That's it. Find out their motivation, because at that point, you're finding out why they want to move. And then when you find out why they want to move, they're going to tell you when they want to move, what needs to happen for them to move. And the whole thing starts unfolding. So find out their motivation.
Do you find a lot of agents will try to sell themselves on that phone call? That's what I've seen a lot of, rather than asking good questions.
That's a really good question, man. I think the challenge is we come from a sales period. Like you look at the 70s and the 80s, where a lot of these sales books were written in, and a lot of these trainers come from, where it's like hardcore selling. And that worked before. And unfortunately for those people, it's just not working now. You can't try to sell yourself over the phone if you haven't even really established trust.
Right.
If you try to sell yourself to me, I'm just going to be like, yeah. And as soon as I hang up, I'm never picking up your call again.
Right.
So think about who you're talking to. This generation that we have now that's buying, the age 32, that's the average age. They don't want to be sold. They just want information, and they want to make sure that they're making that connection with you so that, hey, you know what? I trust this guy or this lady. She's got it down. I can trust her to help me buy. Because really, most of that information that they're getting from you, they already have online. They already have from Zillow and Realtor.com. So
Correct.
We have to really connect with them at a deeper level. And here's the 5 stages of lead follow-up that we normally do. Number 1 is authenticity. So it goes right into what Mike was saying, that authenticity piece. You've got to show the other person that you're real. And that comes with you not selling yourself over the phone. Because I don't care if you're the number 1 agent. I don't care if you're the last agent. I really don't care. I just want to be able to connect with you and to know that you care for me. Because a lot of these agents that are trying to sell me or trying to sell somebody else, they just don't give a shit. They just want to go for the transaction. And remember, it's got to be relational. So authenticity and honesty matter a lot. You've got to show the client not only that you're authentic by saying, look, I know you came in looking for properties in this part of Minnesota. Are you also looking for this area? Because there are also other homes there. They're a little bit more expensive, or they're a little less expensive. But now you're saying, hey, look, I've got a little bit more to offer here. And be honest with them. If they ask you, hey, how's the market going? Don't say, well, the market, I don't know. The market's going to tank, or the market's going to go up if you don't buy, or the market's going to tank if you don't sell now. Now let's be honest with people too, because they can just Google it and find the same information we know. They can go online and find out what 5 different economists have to say. Some saying that it's amazing, and some saying we're headed for like another recession. So be honest with people. People want to know that they can trust you. And it starts with the questions that you're answering for them. Next is...
When you look at, just a comment on that. When you look at NAR, speaking of the stats that you're tracking, when you look at NAR, the first and second most cited reason of the qualities that buyers want in a realtor is going to be honesty and reputation. Those are 2 things that they're looking for. They want to make sure they're working with somebody that's a good person that's got their best interest at heart. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, man, I think it's super important. And that speaks volumes for our generation because they're tired of getting that car salesman from
Yeah.
the 70s and 80s, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to an expired or for sale by owner or a listing presentation, just general, I hear this all the time. I heard it last week. Why is it that all of you realtors sound the same? Do you guys go to the same school? I go, no. It's just that they're all learning from the same that same scripts. So, as cool as scripts are to learn what you need to say, you've got to make them your own because you're just going to sound like the next real estate agent. And unfortunately, we're all using very similar scripts. Next, attention, overwhelm the lead with attempted contacts. Here's where a lot of agents fail. If you didn't fail in part one there, you're going to fail by the attention. You're not texting, calling, emailing them, finding them on social media, and sending them a video through either email or text. And we try all avenues. I'll show you a few slides ahead. I'll show you how we do that. But you've got to find them and you've got to get their attention because right now that's what we're all fighting for. We're all fighting for attention. You look at our whole world and it's the same thing with all these companies. They're all fighting for our attention. Amazon.
I think there's a big disconnect with agents on this one too because they feel like they're bugging people. If they try more than once or twice, I have this conversation with agents all the time. They feel like I don't want to bug this person. They don't want to talk to me. Is that just sort of a mental hurdle you think that people need to get over?
It's a big one, man, because you look at the stats and the percentages of what people want. They want great communication. And I think the thing is this, the agents don't feel comfortable overwhelming the lead because they really don't know what to say when they get them on the phone. And that lead says, what the hell? Why are you calling me so much? And it's easy. It goes back to step number one. Be authentic and honest. Say, hey, Mike, I'm sorry, man. I was just trying to make sure that we reach you so we're able to help you. That's it. And sometimes it's really hard to get a hold of some people. So how are you doing? What do we need to do to be able to help you? Are you looking in this area? Are you not? And as long as you're authentic and honest, that attention by overwhelming the lead will be okay. Because the next thing I'm going to do is as soon as I get a hold of you, I'm going to apologize. That's number 3. Hey, I'm sorry for bugging you. We just wanted to make sure that you're taken care of. That's it. And will you really be mad at me if I say I'm sorry? I just wanted to make sure that you're taken care of. Probably not. There's some crazy people out there that'll be pissed off at you no matter what you do.
True.
And that's okay. You're just going to dump those. But this is the challenge right here, man, these 5 stages of lead follow-up. This is why we've tried to automate number 1 and 2 as much as possible because agents have a tough challenge with that whole overwhelming attention part. And as soon as they get them on the phone, instead of apologizing, they get really emotional, right? Because a lot of the times when you've got this client on the phone, they're like, I already found an agent. And then for some reason, agents are like, well, why are you not using me? I'm like number 1 in this, and I've sold this many homes. You don't want to use an agent that's inexperienced. And that's the last thing I want to hear. So look, apologize, be authentic. Number 4, engage with them. Here's a huge one too. You finally were able to reach somebody by text, by email, or somebody finally called you back. And they text you and you kind of don't text them back quickly. You wait a day. Or you don't return their voicemail for another day. Or you don't email them back. I mean, the point is to engage with these people. They finally got back to you. So engage.
Goes back to our follow-up again, huh?
Yeah, man. It just, for some reason, it's a big challenge. And the last one, convert or go for the relationship. Look, if you can't convert them and you're trying to find out their motivation, which is what I tell my agents, find their motivation. You're finding their why and your when and how. if they say, I'm not looking for another 6 months to a year, instead of just dropping them, go for the relationship. Engage with them a little bit more. Because chances are, if you spend 20, 25 minutes with that lead that you finally got on the phone, and they are going to buy 6 months to a year from now, they're going to remember you because you talked to them the longest. You found their motivation. And now when you call them again 2, 3, 4 months down the line, you have a lot to work with there because you took notes, hopefully, as they were telling you their motivation, why they were moving, where they're moving to, how, and so forth.
Tristan, do you find that a lot of agents, unless the lead is ready to go in the next 30 days and they're hot and they're just, super motivated, you find a lot of agents will just kind of drop off if that lead is not ready right now?
Yeah, definitely. That's what happens to most agents. Most agents just go for the lowest hanging fruit, right? And the challenge with that is they're not finding a lot of those. So I get a lot of, well, these online leads suck, or open house leads suck, right? Or I don't get any referrals. I think the approach is wrong. Actually, I know the approach is wrong because you look at any business and it takes time to build. You look on the listing side, you think a listing just pops out of nowhere. And for the most part, nobody's going to call you and say, hey, come and list my home tomorrow. It's the same thing with sellers. It takes a while. Sellers start, well, I'm thinking of maybe selling my home. It's the same process you're playing with buyers. Usually for me, at least in our area, it takes months before somebody puts their home on the market from the point that I talk to them. It's the same with buyers. It takes months for them to get to that point where they want to buy and then they find a home with me. So they're both processes. And I think agents that come in and think that this is all going to be easy in the sense that, hey, I don't have to follow up. I'm just going to go for the low-hanging fruit, but there's not enough of it. You're going to burn out because you're always looking for the instant gratification, where this business isn't like that. Right? All right, so Facebook ads, traditional ads, Facebook Messenger, and lead ads. I'll go through it pretty quick. These are two ads that they're posts that I did on my Facebook. You can see the one on the left there. My first time going to an event called Holy or Holly, I don't know what the pronunciation is, or Huli, also known as a Festival of Colors. And I just decided to post that up and just to engage with people and show them a little bit of my family and what we do on the weekends. And the one on the right, my daughter went to a camp where she learned how to conquer some of her fears, and I posted that as well. What I do on my personal Facebook page is I try to do a balance here of 4 personal posts to 1 business post. This goes with the whole authenticity thing. People really want to know who you are and connect with you, because the reason they're working with you, contrary to what some coaches say, is because they like you. They work with you because they like you. And you've got to show them that you're a real person. And so when you balance that out on your personal page and say 4 posts are going to be personal and 1's going to be about business, you start then being more authentic in their eyes, because the last thing they want to know is that you're having another open house, or that you've sold another property, or that you listed another home, because every time they go to your feed, it's all about real estate.
So Tristan, do you think in your market that you'll find that there's still a number of agents that try to treat it more as a transactional business versus relational business?
Yeah,
you still see that?
You find that, dude, you find that across the nation, everywhere we go. You find that across the nation that you still have those agents that try to treat everything more transactional, right? And at the end of the day, when you're talking about transactional, it comes down to, it's all about the money, right? And don't get me wrong, money's awesome because money makes everything happen, right? I can go and have a vacation. I can buy a nice car. Or I can make sure that my family's doing well. That's cool. But I think the focus needs to be more on that relationship, because that's what's going to make you the big money. Those relationships, that trust, right? That's what's going to help you grow. That's what's going to give you the longevity that you want in this business. Like we got this $10 million lead over client listing on the left here. And I put this on my business page and it got 46,000 views, 2,200 likes, and 68 shares and a few comments. So with that was on my business page, right? So my business page versus my personal page is a little bit different. You have here on the right, my business page, even when that one post out of 4 is more business oriented, right? It's still not so salesy, right? I'm just trying to show a property here in construction that's coming out on the market that one of our friends has. It's 18 million coming soon in Brentwood, and it's got some other comments there. But I got 145 likes on that. So people will be more receptive to you throwing in some business if most of your stuff is personal. They'll be like, oh,
so
cool.
Tristan, half our audience just bought a plane ticket and bought their real estate. They're getting the real estate license in your neck of the woods when they're seeing these sale prices. I think we just lost half the audience. They're going to be there in 2 days.
That's so funny. You know what's it's so cool that it took me a long time to break into the luxury market, man. I think that's another misconception that everything out here is just like this price, or that it's easy to get these.
Oh, I'm sure it's not.
Yeah. So I think that it goes back to the relationship. The higher you get in price point, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 million, the more important it becomes for that person to trust you. It becomes so much about trust. Like it's actually only about trust. There's nothing else there. It's all about trust. They just want to make sure that they can leave everything to you and you can handle it. That's it. All right. So a lot of the times we find that we just don't have time to post about our listings or whatever it is that you want to post. You can go to Back at You Media. They have a deal with NAR where their product costs $10. We don't get paid for this. This isn't even a company that sponsors us or we have a relationship with. But this company, Back at You Media, made such a good deal with NAR that I thought I'd bring it up because they have a list of all of your listings already on the back end. And as soon as they populate on the MLS, normally they pop up in the back of Back at You Media, as you can see here. And you could just click on, well, I want to schedule a post with this property that I just got. You schedule it and it pops up. If you want to put $10 behind it and create an ad from it, you can. It's so easy. So take a look at Back at You Media.
Nice.
Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger, if you're not on it, really start looking at it. Right now we're using a combination of Ylopo and ChatFuel. ChatFuel is, I'll show you on the next page. So on the left here, or actually towards the middle of the screen, you see where it says Chat Now. They've connected my Messenger bot to my website. And on the right side here, where you see it says hello message, cheers, how's it going? Hi, just fine, how are you? That's my Messenger bot from ChatFuel.
So Tristan, is that much different than ManyChat, or is it easier? Have you used both?
I've used both. ChatFuel is just so much easier to use.
I'm glad you told me that because we're struggling with ManyChat to even onboard that thing because it's pretty intense.
Dude, ChatFuel, you're gonna love ChatFuel. It's so easy. It took us one afternoon. That's it. And then the rest of the stuff you want to add to grow it, to be able to have different responses, you can add that as you go. But it'll be pretty quick. Take a look at ChatFuel. But if you're not, go ahead.
I said no, for sure. We're gonna look at that. That's a great tip.
Oh, cool. Yeah, take a look at ChatFuel. It's good. And if your website provider doesn't have that integration with Facebook Messenger, you've got to really take a look at that company and take a look at Ylopo. I think iFound Agent just started doing it too. iFound Agent is another site that you want to take a look at website-wise. All right, Facebook lead ads. I can't see the audience, but you can, Mike. Who's doing Facebook lead ads?
We got probably only a handful of people in here. And we got a couple shy people that won't raise their hand no matter what I do. I could pay them. They're still not going to raise their hand, but
Okay.
that's okay.
No problem, man. Facebook lead ads. So we, LabCode agents, introduced Facebook lead ads to the real estate industry way back, like almost 3 years ago. And as soon as I discovered Facebook lead ads, because Facebook told us about it, we're like, wow, this is kind of cool. This is going to be, I think, the next big thing. And then it happened. I was like, holy crap, that happened faster than I thought. But now everybody's doing Facebook lead ads. If you're not, I'm going to show you. They've simplified it a little bit. You go to your home page. There's a drop-down menu. And you go down to the drop-down menu. You can see create ads.
And you're talking on your business page.
Yeah, you're talking on your, well, actually, you need a business page for this. But if you go to just Facebook in general on your desktop and you go to the drop-down menu, you can be on any of your pages. It doesn't matter. But it is going to require you to have a business page to process it. So the screen on the left, you see 3 main screens here. Your screen on your left, you can be on any page as long as it's your desktop here. You can also run it off of your app, but this is the desktop version. You drop down menu, go to create ads, right above manage ads. Click on it, and then it takes you to another screen, the one in the middle, and you've got some options in the middle under consideration. You want to run lead generation. That's what you want to run. And then that's where on the right-hand side, you see where it says Facebook page. It'll say, well, what business page do you want to use? And we've got a few. So I just chose Tristan and Associates. And then on the bottom there, I choose my audience, where I want to focus it in. If I'm trying to bring people in from other areas to move to your part of Minnesota, or if I want to target people that already live here in a specific city. But you have lots of options there. So here's what a good ad will look like on the left. It's a carousel ad. It's an ad that's running 3 or more slides, like a picture. And what you can see is Nick right here, he put some emojis. He gave you some information about the property, gave you the city, and he gave you some good things about it, but he didn't give you the price. And he didn't want to give you the price because if he gives you the price, then you'll know what the price is and chances are you won't click on it. And then you can also see that he's got great pictures and people that really engage with these ads, engage mostly with carousel ads because they have a choice. It's not just one picture. They can scroll through and they can start looking for other properties. And that's why what I show you in a little bit will be even better than this. But take a look at this. If you want to take a picture of what an ad will look like, it's got some with the right things to do on the right-hand side there. $10 a day would be sufficient. If you're running one ad for 30 days, $10 a day, you're probably going to get about 60 leads. It depends on your area, but 60 to 90 leads. In my area, I probably only get about 20 to 25 leads. But 60 to 90 leads for $300, that's insane.
That's a really good price.
Here's what separates lead ads from everything else, just in case you haven't played with it or you don't know what it is. When you click on one of these ads, it says, oh, you want to see this home? Yeah, great, I do. And then the screen to the right, this is what happens to the user. It populates the user's information with their email address, their full name, and their cell phone number because Facebook has over 90% of that information for everybody. So now we're getting a real cell phone, real name, and real email address. And then they click submit, it comes to us. Now, there are other options. You can use higher intent. And what higher intent is, instead of a person just clicking that button on the right-hand side where it says submit there, they would have to then go over here and slide the button to the right. Because sometimes when we get these leads and they didn't have to slide all the way through, it was just a submit button, we give them a call. say, oh, you know what? My son or my daughter clicked on it. I'm really not interested, right? So this gives an extra depth to that, just in case you wanted to test that out. Any questions on this?
Anyone?
Nope.
No, but I tell you, we got a pretty intense group here, man. Everybody's writing and taking pictures, and they're loving the info.
All right, good, good. It gets better. There's more.
Perfect.
All right, where do the leads go to? We're like, whoa, 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 what? You know what? Where do these Facebook leads go to? Well, we use a company called Ylopo. So now they create the leads for us. I work with them closely so that I can change the type of ads that I have. And those leads are sent directly to my CRM from them. Now, that's not the case if you don't have Ylopo. You're going to need a company called Zapier on the right-hand side or LeadsBridge. Because if you don't have either of these, and they're not expensive, they run about $20 a month. But if you don't have either of these, your leads are going to be stuck on Facebook as an Excel or an Excel sheet. And you won't know when you get a lead because Facebook's not going to notify you. They're just going to be stuck there. And so you're going to have to open it up every hour, every 2 hours, every day, however long you want.
So Zapier will be the API that will feed it to your CRM. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So here, this is how it works, which is what I was going to get into. As soon as the lead comes through and they input that information, they go here. Here, I'll show you. As soon as this happens over here, where they click submit, they're going to have access to your website. They're going to be able to see the properties that they were looking at. What happens on the back end, though, is with Zapier or LeadsBridge, that information will be sent to your CRM, and then your CRM, whatever processes you have in play, and I'll show you in a little bit, whatever processes you have in play will take effect. For us, they all automatically start getting notified they get a text, they get another text, they get a voicemail, they get an email, my ISAs get it, Agentology gets it, they start getting calls. It's a whole process, right? So it just depends on what you want to do and how you want to play it. But Zapier and LeadsBridge allows that lead to be dumped into your CRM. That's it. That's the easiest.
Nice.
Now, sometimes creating ads is a little tough, lead ads, and there's a company, and this company we do work with well. There's a company when you have listings that you can use. So let's say, Mike, you've got a good listing and you want to make a quick lead ad out of it. You go to realahq.com/LCA and you make a single property website, because that's what this company is. They just extended it a little further. After you make that single property website, which is super sexy, you go to the back and you say, well, I want to make a Facebook ad. And literally, so this is the page. That's it. You answer these questions. You put your budget. You put how long you want the ad to run and who you should target. I want to target buyers and the radius. You click next. It'll show you the design. You can review it and then publish it. That's how easy they've simplified it. But this is only if you've got listings. If you want to start creating your own ads separately, like to get buyers and you don't have listings, then you've got to go through the other process. But this saves time. You want to do that. Now here's a little bit of what's happening now that not a lot of companies or even people are doing because they just can't. And it's something called Dare that Facebook came up with. I think it was less than a year ago, or maybe a year ago. So when they created this, you know what? It's about a year ago. Before they created it, they hit up me and Nick and they said, hey guys, look, we're about to launch this. Let me explain to you what it is. One of the things that I forgot to mention is that I get to visit Facebook every quarter, and we're one of the few people that run their real estate advisory board. So we get to see everything that Facebook comes up with real estate wise before anybody else. So that's why I talk about Facebook. Now, Dare, if you're older, like I'm 40 now, and when I grew up and I was in elementary, I remember the Dare program. It was like a drug program, And so most of the Facebook kids are in their 20s and they don't know what Dare is. So they decided to name this thing Dare, which is cool. You can remember what Dare was, but for them, it's a dynamic ads for real estate. And it's so new that only 3 companies are running it right in real estate. One of them is Ylopo. The other one is Redfin. And the third one that just literally jumped on as of like 2 weeks ago because they just figured it out is Zillow. And what it is it's a minimum of 100 listings that you need to have, first of all, as a company or in an IDX feed. And so the easiest way to explain it is this. When you have a list of, let's say, 1,000 homes, Mike, how many homes are in your MLS?
In the actual MLS, it's well over 5,000.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect. So your MLS, if they were able to figure this out, they could easily use Dare to get more clients and to just follow people around on the MLS. This is how we use it. We asked Ylopo to add. I have 26,000 people in my database, and I said, "Hey, Ylopo, can you do me a favor and grab all 26,000 people and throw them onto this Dare program? And I want all of these 26,000 people in my database to see my ads every day. And as they see my ads and engage with them, what happens is the next day, as they engage with them, let's say on the right-hand side, you see this one that says 1,495,000, 5-bedroom, 6-bath. They click on it. And they start looking at it, and then they click on more. Then all of a sudden they're looking at 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and they see like 6 homes, and their price range is about 900,000. Well, the dynamic part about it is that the next day it remembers that. And now they're going to be getting properties around 900,000 versus all over the place. The more the client engages with these ads, the more it changes to what they're looking for exactly. And it shows up on their feed on Facebook on a daily basis. So this way, you know that whole nurturing part that we suck at as agents? This Dare program from Facebook is allowing us to be able to nurture these clients a lot more. Why
Interesting.
Facebook?
You're saying that the way you're doing this is through Ylopo, correct?
Yeah, through Ylopo. And right now that's the only company that can do it for us as clients. Unless you work with Redfin, and Zillow won't even sell this piece to you. They'll just get leads and send them to you. You won't know where they come from, right?
The good news is for us here, we just onboarded Ylopo as a brokerage account. So we're going to be playing with this. So that was based on your recommendation in Denver, by the way. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. So what you want to do, Mike, you want to take a look at what you can do is every single one of your agents, they can belong to this too. Like my team, for instance, on the one on the right, even though they look the same, I know they're not the same, but the one on the right there, the one that says new homes for sale in Ontario. What happens is I can add each one of my agents has like 700 or 800 friends in Facebook, right? And now what I've done through this remarketing, through Dare, is I have each one of my agents download their Facebook database, their friends, give it to Ylopo. Ylopo will show you how to do it. And then Ylopo retargets all of your 800 friends with your IDX, with my agent's IDX. So this way, now all of my agents' friends on Facebook are being retargeted and engaged on Facebook so that if they're looking at property or if they're thinking about it, they're seeing it every day. And anytime they click on it and they're interested, that lead goes then to my agent. It doesn't go to me, it goes to my agent because it's their database. But it separates it on Follow Up Boss. And just that alone, because the average amount of time that a person is spending on Facebook in the United States is 51 minutes. That's a shitload of time, dude.
It is.
So I want to be where my clients are. And I know that my agents aren't the best at following up, so I'm trying to help them out here. This is Dare. This is you leveraging technology. This is you leveraging the tools around you to be able to do the things that you're not able to do, right?
And going back to the beginning when you were saying about just growing and scaling and not having to work 20 hours a day on follow-up, that's one of those really crucial pieces that you just mentioned.
Dude, this is such a huge piece, and I don't think people got it at the beginning because nobody knew how to use Dare. The first thing they thought was like, well, I don't have 100 listings, right? And we don't. Not one agent, single agent usually has 100 listings. But if you start using everyone's collective properties through the MLS, that changes. And then you have the technology that's able to do that, and it's a win.
Yes, we have a question. So, Tristan, we have a question of what kind of costs that would incur for the agent.
So that's the best part. You would think that this costs like thousands of dollars, right? And it doesn't. I was so surprised. I was like, what? You got to be kidding me. For retargeting and remarketing through Dare, it only cost me a total of $200 a month to target 1,000 people. That's insane.
And what we're doing here with our brokerage account is we bought the platform. So if you guys want to enroll in that, we can do that for you.
Yeah. So, it might even be less because you as a broker, you incur the cost of the platform. So it may be, I don't know the price, but it may be like $150.
Just ad spend at that point. That's all it is.
It's ad spend for the retargeting. Yeah. Cause I think for every 1,000 people that you retarget or remarket to, it averages to about, depending on the area, I'm just going to say between $100 and $150 per 1,000. And so for me, I've got a crap load of people in my database, right? So it just depends. Do you just want to use your Facebook friends, or do you also want to bring in the rest of your database as well? I don't know how big that would look for you. But Instagram, we don't talk about Instagram much. Mike, on the left here, this is an ad that I ran when I wanted to grow my team from 7 to 25 in a month. And I had 24 applications in a month. I'm sorry, in 7 days. 24 applications from this ad on the left in 7 days to grow my team. And from those 24 people, I went from a team of 7 to a team of 25 in less than a month. So I don't run that ad anymore because I don't want to hire any more people. But think about how powerful Instagram is. If your average buyer's age is 32, right? What are some of these buyers that are buying also want to do? They want to become real estate agents, right? Our average age of realtors are 57. But you have a lot of millennials in there coming in, and they're using Instagram. So it's time to think about using Instagram a lot more. On the right, I just ran a sponsored ad for a property we had in the Pacific Palisades. And we get leads. The lead ads that I just showed you over here. Well, Facebook owns Instagram, and they run the same. So if somebody clicks on this ad over here on the right, that other screen's going to show up. It's going to ask you, hey, is this your information? And all you have to do is click yes, and then we get the lead. Now we have an Instagram lead. It's the same as a Facebook. So
Tristan, that's a great point, because I think realtors think so much about Facebook and Facebook only. You almost never even hear about people using Instagram, and I think that's a huge, huge opportunity.
Yeah, so when you're running the ads, now that you have got Ylopo will run Instagrams for you too. Instagram lead ads, it's the same thing. It's just a different target audience, obviously. Your demographic's slightly different. It's younger. Mm-hmm. So the pictures that you use, you've got to make them a little bit more, even though the design of the Instagram ad changes automatically when you're using the back end of Facebook. Because it says, hey, this is how your ad on Facebook is going to look, and this is how it's going to look on Instagram. So just make sure that the picture stands out a lot. If it doesn't, just run 2 different ads, one for Facebook and one for Instagram. I usually run the same ad for both because my pictures are high quality for both. So just make sure that it's all about the picture. Remember that. And the hashtags too. All right. If you don't have time to post to Facebook and Instagram, there's also a company called Buffer. Take a look at Buffer. Buffer now automates the process, so you can decide for the whole week. You can be like, hey, look, on Monday, I'm going to post this, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, at this time, and Buffer will post it automatically. So it simplifies it.
So you set up the time, then it deploys when you want it to?
Yeah, a month ago, it didn't. You had to actually paste it. It would just remind you, hey, right? But Instagram finally allowed for automation, and Hootsuite and Buffer now do it. So that's pretty cool.
Really cool.
Facebook, Instagram lead funnel, half man, half machine. I wish Nick was here because that's Nick's picture. He loves comic books and he loves corny pictures. So that was his. I hope he's listening.
We'll get him a copy.
All right. So this is the system that we use, Agent Legend. It's one of many. Take note of this if you're taking notes. You have Shout Boss, which you can take a look at. It's the same as Agent Legend. You have Riley, Riley. You have, I think it's Hello Alex. No, what's that? Hello Alex.
Alex, yep.
Yep. Hello Alex. And you have Ava as well. So there's a few to choose from. We use Agent Legend only because it was first to market for this whole automated process, and it's got a great app that I share with my ISAs. So every one of my ISAs can see what's happening live at the same time and chime in. So here's what we got. Remember those leads that come through online? Well, we've got a system for it. It shows you as soon as they come in 2 minutes in, they get a voicemail. Now, I've got it set up like this. This is assuming I wouldn't have an ISA. If you've got an ISA, then I probably wouldn't drop a voicemail. I probably just start with the automated text. If it's all you, all alone, no ISA, go ahead and drop a voicemail 2 minutes in or a minute in, depending on where they're coming from. We don't buy Realtor.com leads or Zillow leads. I canceled that 2 years ago. I'm only doing pay-per-click and Facebook leads. So we find that those leads aren't as ready as a Realtor.com or Zillow leads. So we've got ours a little bit different here. This is specifically for Facebook lead ads. Let's just go with that. 2 minutes in, you get a voicemail. 5 minutes, they get a text. If they don't respond, 15 minutes later, they get another text. And then they get an email. That's day one.
So Tristan, can I ask you one question? So I think that was such a huge distinction you just made. So you got rid of the portal leads a couple of years ago, and you put all your stock behind Facebook and pay-per-click, and you're actually converting and thriving on that system that everybody else seems to just want to walk away from.
Yeah, I think because we have the systems in place. So I'm showing you the secrets here. Here's what happened. 2 years ago, when I said, see you later to Zillow, and then a month later, I said, see you later to Realtor.com, I was spending between both of them $40,000 a month. So calculate that in a year, right? And it was don't get me wrong, like it was paying off, right? I think it was like double, which isn't bad. But I thought, I'm spending quite a bit. I'm almost spending $500,000 a year on something that they keep on raising the price on me for, right?
They like to do that, yeah.
And it sucks. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to quit it. And as soon as I quit it, I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I lost all my zip codes now, right? And so I had to figure something out pretty quickly. And that's when I figured out a system to automate the leads from Facebook, because we were already doing Facebook lead ads a little bit and pay-per-click. And so what we created was a system to optimize these leads that a lot of agents are saying suck. And I'll show you some of the numbers coming up. The thing has been, here's what I always tell people. the reason your leads from Facebook and pay-per-click suck, or even online leads in general, the reason they suck is because you suck. That's the reason. It's simple. And that's the reason we don't suck, because our systems are in place. And I know as a human, I fuck up. I don't follow up all the time. But my systems, they don't mess up. They're in place because they know that there's human error on my part. But if the systems are placed in perfectly, guess what? I don't have to worry about that messing up. Even my ISAs, they mess up. But my systems, they don't mess up. They just don't.
That's a huge distinction right there.
So day 2, day 3, day 4, actually, we don't do anything. We just kind of stay quiet. And then we go into day 5, day 6, and day 7. Now, at the very beginning, I gave you a phone number and a text to text that phone number to. And you're going to get my 7 days that I put in, that I plug in here, exactly what I do now. That's exactly what I use. And so you'll see it for Facebook leads, for the Facebook lead ads. And this is obviously part of it. And as we've gotten better at doing things, we just get better at doing everything else that we're trying. So here are the results, what we've got. So from that alone, just Agent Legend, the automated system, whoever you use, it doesn't have to be Agent Legend. It can be Riley. It can be Shout Boss, whatever. We have a 50% response rate on Facebook leads. That means 1 out of every 2 leads respond back. They say, hey, I'm not looking to buy right now. I'm just browsing. Or they say, hey, I don't know how the hell you got my number. Take me off. Or they say, we're looking in this area, and this is our price range. 1 out of every 2 respond. And to me, that was super huge. I was like, oh, man.
That's absolutely huge, because most people, what they report back on Facebook and pay-per-click is they get no response at all. If you're getting 50% because of your systems, that is gigantic.
Yeah, and here's some sample scripts so you can see. You can take a picture of the sample scripts of the text that we use going out on the left. You can see, hi, thanks for coming. Thanks for looking at homes today on our website from Facebook. You see how it's Facebook specific, right? And the cool thing about Agent Legend, you can have a whole bunch of these. So I have one for Facebook. I have one for pay-per-click. I have one for my nurture leads. I have one for expireds. I have one for sale by owners. I have one for open houses. I have one for past clients. We have one for everything.
Sounds like it.
We even have one for Realtor.com and Zillow, even though we don't use them anymore. We still get some Zillow leads and Realtor.com leads because our brokerage buys that whole showcasing thing where if we have the listing, we still get the leads.
Yep.
So, every once in a while we get a Realtor or Zillow lead. But take a picture of that. You can see the nudge text. We coined the phrase, the nudge text. And that's that second text that kind of pushes you along when you forgot to respond that first time. And that's been so crucial for us, that nudge text. And I don't think I have it here, but let me check. No, I don't. But if you want to write this down or get the gist of it, one of the best texts I have in my arsenal is a text that goes out on day 5 usually. And remember, these shut off as soon as somebody responds. So they don't keep on going for like 7 days. If they respond on the second day, guess what? It shuts off. You don't have to worry about it. So my best text so far right now is one that says, day 5, hey, I don't know if you're in the area this weekend, but I've got a list of open houses for you. Do you want me to text that or email it? And that's it. And 1 out of 5 respond back. It's 20%. And these are people who haven't responded. That's been a big, big one. You could just use
this is text number 5, you said, right? Text number 5.
And what you could do, Mike, you could actually take that and put it into your old database of however many thousands of leads you've got and just blast that out. Mass text that one.
Oh, yeah.
And that revives so many people. All right. After the campaign ends, you have a choice of what kind of templates you want to add in there. Automated systems. I don't know if you get the system, you can create your own. I don't know that Agent Legend really has very many templates. I think we created 2 for them. You might be able to plug in there, but you have to create the rest. We also use a company called Altos. That's one of the techs that I actually use, Altos Research, and they give us information on an area, market information. So that's one of the texts that I send out, even though you're not looking in Malibu. I would say, hey, here's a cool report I love. It's for Malibu, though. I'm not sure if you're only looking in Malibu. Let me know. And we get people saying, no, I'm looking in Thousand Oaks, or I'm looking in Calabasas. And so we change it up. It's like, oh, great. Let me send that over to you. There's another one of Nick's awesome pictures. It's consumer lead portals, less man, more machine. And so this is what we are now running, because we were just running Agent Legend last summer. And then in September, we started playing around with Agentology. And then a few months later, we combined both systems. And Agentology is an ISA company that's out of San Diego. What they do is every single lead that comes through, online lead only, every online lead that comes through, they call or they try to communicate with within the first 5 days. So it's 10 attempts in 5 days. 5 of those attempts are day 1. So what we figured is, why not combine both? So what we did is, now as soon as a lead comes through, you see day 1 through day 3 for Agent Legend starts 3 days later. So we give Agentology 3 days to try it. Hey, Agentology, along with my ISAs, you've got 3 days to get a hold of this lead. And if you can't, then Agent Legend goes into effect. And you can see with my commissions Inc. buyers, which are pay-per-click, we've got a 39% response rate. Those are Google leads alone, not Facebook, Google. And the reason it's a little bit lower than Facebook is because Google leads don't have accurate phone numbers most of the time. They're not like Facebook. Facebook has a really, really in-depth data system, which is really nice. So now what we're doing is we also, for those people that use Realtor.com Zillow, we've been able to track how many of these leads Agentology can talk to and convert. Now, what they mean by convert is people that raise their hand and say they want to talk to an agent. And so 43% of these people that come through from Realtor.com want to talk to an agent, which is pretty good. And 40% of Zillow, unless it's Trulia. I thought those were good numbers to show, so that people that want to continue with Realtor.com and Zillow can see that. Now, one thing that I didn't show you here is there's a stat now that after I put in place Agentology and Facebook, we're at 70, almost just over 70% of our Facebook leads are contacted. That means we get a response with that combo. That means somebody calling them live and then transferring it into an automated system gives us a much better response than just the automated system. We're just a little bit over 70%. That's almost 3 out of 4 Facebook leads we get a response out of. Those are the
I don't know if I know. Yeah, and I don't know if I know anybody else running numbers like that. That's huge. So it just speaks volumes what your systems are doing.
Yeah, and that's really important, man. It comes down to the systems you have in place. Now, we've put in place a system for Craigslist as well. Craigslist is free. We seem to see on our end that we get a lot of motivated leads. I'm sorry, not a lot. Some. We get less leads from Craigslist, but the quality is definitely better than the quantity here. So here's what our ads look like.
Tristan, we had one question in the audience. Do you mind if I pass that through quick?
Yeah, go ahead, shoot.
Backing up to Agent Legend and the Agentology that you use, is that a per month fee that you
sure.
pay to these?
Okay, so the question is on Agentology and Agent Legend, if it's a per month fee, and the other thing I would add to that is your contracts.
Yeah, so Agent Legend is a monthly fee. Take a look at Agent Legend and Shout Boss. There's a price difference, and they do pretty much the same thing. I think it runs like $150 or $199 a month for Agent Legend or Shout Boss. And then Agentology, it's a per lead basis. I don't know what it would be, but we run thousands of leads a month through them. So they're charging us $4 a month per lead that they engage with or that they attempt. So I would start with Agent Legend and plug that into your systems, because Agent Legend, you can plug into everything. You can use it for your past clients, for your sphere, for your open house leads, for your online leads, for expired. You can use it for everything. Once you figure that out, once you figure out that system and how you're going to use it, then I would elevate and say, well, now I need an ISA to bring them in and give me better conversion, right? If you're not the one that's making the calls.
Awesome.
Good. All right, cool. Craigslist lead gen. Here, take a picture of this. This is one of Nick's ads. He runs a lot more Craigslist ads than I do. And the difference with the ads that we run now is that we have a texting phrase. You can see the one in the middle at the bottom if you can see that far. If you can't take a picture, you can see it later. It says, but you can get all the info, photos, location, and price before anyone else by texting the word style to that phone number. Now, what happens is when people pick up their phone and start texting, it changes the game. People are then more motivated to talk to you because they just picked up the phone to text you. They're taking an extra step. And so what we use is a company called Call Action. Now, these, remember, I'm showing you tools and tech to be able to leverage all of this, right? Call Action then engages with them through that code. So we have different codes for different areas. I don't know how clear that screen is, Mike, but what you can see is these codes here on the left where it says key code and campaign. These are all codes for different areas and cities that we cover. So if you text me the code Morningside to that phone number, you're going to get a list of homes for that area. If you text the word Oak Grove to that same number, you're going to get a different list. And it goes forth. That's how it flows. So we're able to leverage Craigslist with Call Action and not really have to be responding to these people and sending them lists of properties and emails and everything, because it's doing it all for us. And the cool thing about it is as soon as they text, we get a lot of information from that client. So let's say, Mike, let's say you just texted a code. You're like, hey, yeah, I want some more information about this home. You texted it, it came to me, and now you're sent the property information automatically. Here we go. First text goes out and sends you the property info. Now, you see over here on the right, on the left here, it says that there's a delay of 6 minutes. Well, 6 minutes later, there's another text that goes out. It says, hey, this is Nick with Keller Williams. And I just saw you requested some info from our automated tool. Did you have any questions? You can add whatever the hell you want to that. It's just like Agent Legend, right? But Agent Legend doesn't have that keyword, that key code. So then you can add a whole bunch of text that go out and engage with the leads that come through. You can add video, you can add voice, you can add a lot of things. And one of the things that we use it for are sign calls. Check this out. We have, remember, it's Call Action.
That's what we have, right?
We do.
So you put it on your sign calls. This is the information on the right of what you get. If you've got this already, start using it, please. Because now I got this lead. I got her son calling me. It was her son calling me, and it was a little boy. It says, yeah, I want some more information about the mansion that you have for sale. I'm like, okay, what kind of information do you want, little boy? She's like, well, my mom wants information. I said, okay. She's like, I want the price. I said, okay, here's the price. And so as soon as they called that number, though, I got all their information on the right. Like, I got her name. I got their home address of where they live, the value of their home. So I texted her and I said, hey, Michelle, do you have any other questions about the mansion in Westlake that your son called on? And we went on talking. And it goes further. And now I stopped by her home, dropped off a little packet just to say hello. we've talked, we've engaged, and that was because of call action. Now a phone number gives me a lot more information because I put all of the call action phone numbers on all of my for sale signs. Why? Because it just leveraged so much. I don't have to go look for who the hell owns this phone number. I don't have to ask all these questions. I'll know a lot more about this person. And the best thing about it is if I miss the phone call, the sign call, I know that call action is going to engage with them anyway. The automatic text that goes out if I'm on the phone says, hey, I'm on the phone right now, but I'll call you back. Do you have any questions that I can answer about the property? So you've got to take
one point I love to make about that too is we already kind of discussed that agent follow-up's not so good. There's a lot of people that get no response at all, but even the ones that do get a response often are 5 to 10 hours, even 9 to 10 hours later. So that right there with call action, with more of an automated response, I mean, I think that's a pretty important piece.
It is, man, because what's going to happen if they don't get the information they want from that sign call? They're going to go on Redfin, Realtor.com, or Zillow and find that property and find whoever's paying for that zip code. They're going to get that info, right?
Correct.
So what we find is that the best combination is letting this type of AI send the initial text, email, video, email, the voicemail drop, and then having a real person like an ISA or an agent make the calls to connect once that engagement has been made. That's the combination we find now. Obviously, as we head into the future, we're going to have more of a real AI in real estate, where they're able to take in more data and have more of a natural language so that they're able to talk for us, right? They're able to really engage with the client back and forth, depending on the questions they ask. That's the responses that we're going to be targeting. So as AI gets more and more intelligent and we figure out more how to bring them into real estate more, we're going to see that being a big change. Is that going to happen? Hell yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, in the future, I don't know how far into it, we're going to have ISAs that are AIs. Our ISAs won't be real people. They will be AIs. It's just a matter of time. And so I usually go into video and social. Look, I got 166,000 views here on the left on this video. We're starting to break into our community through the videos that we're using. People recognize me on the streets, which is cool because I'm going for me as the branding, right? I'm branding me. That's what I want. And what's next? The AI, what I was talking about. I think here's type 3 and type 4 is what I'm talking about. Once we have AIs start using theory of mind and self-awareness, then it's a whole different game. Not only in real estate, but in sales, in business. It's gonna change the way we do things. And this is why you have our great minds right now in this world. They're so at odds at why AI is good or why AI is bad, right? You have Elon Musk saying it's the worst. It's going to cause our world to go crazy. And then yet you have Zuckerberg saying that AI is amazing. We should be able to use this, and it can really elevate our world and take us to another whole new world. So for me, I'm just sitting back and I'm watching because I think any tool that we have can be used for good or bad. It's just going to depend on where we are as a country, culturally, whether or not we're more developed or not.
You probably agree with this too, though. Whether you like it or love it, whether you're excited about it or not, it's coming.
Oh yeah, it's totally coming. It's already here. If you watched a couple of videos from Google on the whole Google, the way Google is using the Google AI, their assistant, to call up these restaurants and set up an appointment for you. Natural language. You can never tell that this person is an AI or this thing is an AI. And it's setting up appointments and giving a response back to people like you and I, Mike, going back and forth. I don't know where the video is, but if you want to Google it, it's called check out Google AI or Google Assistant ordering food. I think it was ordering food. It's insane. It'll just blow your mind that we're already there. And don't forget, Lab Coat Agents Live, San Diego. This is only a piece of what we're going to talk about. It will blow your minds when you're there because it's 2.5 days, 50 speakers, 47 workshops. And I mean, Aaron Brockovich, me, Nick.
You know what I'm going to do, Tristan? Just decided right now. For anybody that's in here live right now or live at home with Realty Group, I'm going to give away a ticket to Lab Coats in June. You have to pay for your own airfare, but I will actually buy your ticket if you want to go. So we're going to do a lottery for that, a drawing for that. Enter your name in with me. We're going to pick a name and bring one of you guys to Lab Coats.
Dude, I love that. I love that. So here's what I ended with, man. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Look, it really looks like it's a lot, but it isn't. You're just putting your words into a system to be able to respond for you. And if you take a step back and you look at everything that you're doing with this mindset, and that's, how can I leverage this so that I can buy myself more time and be able to grow at the same time? You start looking at things a little differently. And I think that's when you start growing and changing. And that's it. Any questions?
Well, first off, I'm going to say for anybody that's not on Lab Coats right now, go on Facebook and join the group. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Secondly, I wanted to thank you, Tristan, before we even get into questions, because I know you took time out of your busy day. For those that don't know, Tristan, I got to say you are one of the nicest and most humble guys. I love hearing your presentations, and every time we're at an event together, it's great hanging out. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming to do this for us.
That's really sweet, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And any questions before we wrap up? Everybody's still writing and they're taking notes. There's steam coming out of their ears right now, all the info. So let's see if we have any questions. We got a question.
Shoot.
I know you said you're backing away from Realtor.com, Zillow, but for those of us who aren't quite ready for that, systems like Market Snapshot, what's your opinion on that?
Market Snapshot?
Market Snapshot is a good tool to be able to use. You just have to figure out how to automate that. So as soon as the lead comes through from coming in through Market Snapshot, you've got to plug in Agent Legend or Shout Boss or a system to leverage that, because a lot of the times as soon as the lead comes through, we don't respond quickly or we respond too aggressively. So finding out the text I would use when people inquire about value for their home, I usually say, hey, look, my text is something like this. Hey, I'm working on the value of your home, but I need to know a little bit more about it to get an accurate estimate. Have you done any upgrades to your home? ? And then you open them up to being like, well, yeah, I've done the kitchen or the bathroom or this or that. But now you're not coming at it like every other agent, right? Which is, give me your listing. Oh, you want to sell or you want to refi? Which one? But yeah, I like Market Snapshot.
I got a question for you. Now, all the information we talked about from things like YLOPO and retargeting and Agent Legend and ISAs and AI, I mean, it's a lot of information, and I know agents get overwhelmed with this. So if you're going to start, if you're starting just going from old school, doing everything yourself with no automation, what would be one of the first step and the second step you take?
I think the first step is getting your scripts right. The reason that the automation works for me is because I'm a master scripter. So I usually know what to say in almost every situation regarding to real estate, because I actually call expireds on a daily basis. I call for sale by owners on a daily basis. I call my online leads on a daily basis. My past clients, my sphere, I've gone door knocking. I do open houses. You're gonna find that the more you do out there and the more you fail through this experience, the more you're gonna be able to say to yourself is that, you know what? This phrase works really well. And this doesn't. Why? Because it hasn't gotten me business. So I think first, find your voice, find that authenticity, the way you approach people. And then once you found that through consistent scripting, you can put that into some type of an automated system. And if you don't want to do that, then just copy what I have. You know, it doesn't always work in your area, but you know, I usually come across a lot softer than your Mike Ferry type scripts. And look, I've coached with Mike Ferry. He's a cool guy, and that works for some people. But I think there's a huge generational gap there, and our generation, that's not us. It's not us. Ours is a lot softer, and the close is a lot softer, and that's how I work. So find your voice. Make sure your voice isn't a hardcore closer. Other than that, you're good.
Okay, great. Thanks. Great answer there, Tristan. And as far as the text lab coats that we see on the screen right now, is that for the event?
No, that is it's for two things. I'll give you the link to the event in it, but it'll also give you a link to the 7-day scripts that you can plug into your to Agent Legend or to Shout Boss, or just to have them. These are texts that I use for Facebook leads that come through.
And is the text lab codes powered by Call Action?
Yes, this one is Call Action. You're right.
Here we go. You're actually using the tool on us that you're talking about. How cool is that, guys?
I did. Yeah, dude. I am. And I didn't automate it, so I won't be like responding. I won't have the AI responding to you like 2 days later. It's just one text.
Gotcha. Love it. Well, Tristan, again, thanks so much for your time. I know you're probably busy and everybody else is probably going to jump out and go to lunch here, but looking forward to seeing you at the end of June. And man, awesome presentation today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, everyone.